What is going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel, and it is finally that time. This is my complete ranking of every single Quentin Tarantino film, from his first film, Reservoir Dogs, to his latest and newest film, which is in theaters right now, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Guys, I'm so sorry it's taken me a little bit to kind of get this ranking out. This weekend has been crazy. I've been helping one of our neighbors. I've been helping them kind of move out past couple of days. Disclaimer, this is my ranking. This is not saying these are the best films, that your opinion's wrong. This is just my opinion, and everyone is entitled to their own ranking. So why don't you go ahead and list yours right down below in the comment section. Also, before I start this video, make sure you subscribe to this channel for more content just like this. Let's get into this ranking. Starting off with the bottom of the barrel, number 9 goes to Death Proof. This is a movie that is kind of a double feature to another Grindhouse film. However, this movie feels the least Tarantino-like to me. You do get some really good sequences, whether you're talking about Kurt Russell's character as he's trying to kill these women in his car. But other than that, a lot of this movie is just, it feels very wasted. The execution didn't necessarily to me feel like a normal Tarantino film. Yes, it's shorter, it's more compact, but I felt like this movie was just missing kind of that Tarantino flair that we get in all of his other films. I didn't really care about any of the characters in this movie, and really, they were all just for cannon fodder. So that is why Death Proof is number 9. Number 8 goes to Jackie Brown. This movie is a big hit and miss for me because there are moments in this movie that I truly like. Whether you get some dialogue between Robert De Niro's character and this girl named Melanie, where they have this really good dynamic, this really good chemistry on screen. But other than that, this movie just kind of has pointless dialogue. They have so many moments where characters are having conversations with one another that literally goes nowhere. I fell asleep through the first hour. The pacing of this movie is so unbalanced. The first hour feels like it's 2 hours long, and the second hour feels like 45 minutes long. And so this movie has a very unbalanced pace to it. As well, this movie doesn't really understand the tone that it's trying to set up and established with this movie. And honestly, to me, it just kind of got to be a little bit boring and a little bit cluttered for a Tarantino film. Number 7, The Hateful Eight. I really like this movie. I need to go back and watch it again because I'm kind of mixed on this film. It's again another type of Jackie Brown scenario for me. I felt like a lot of the dialogue was very forced, very nonsensical, kind of pointless. I just didn't really care about a lot of these characters. The only character I truly did care about was Samuel L. Jackson's character, and Kurt Russell's character as well is really nice. You get some really nice moments, whether it be, certain acting moments, especially from Jennifer Jason Leigh, who is phenomenal in this movie. She does a great job, probably the best thing I've ever seen her in. You get some really nice character moments because of the actors and kind of what they're doing. You get some really nice violent moments. But this movie takes its time, and it really, really is so slow. You have to kind of get over that initial hump, getting past the first hour and a half, because it's just kind of a tread, and it's a trudgery. I like the nice mysterious element to it, but I hate that the film gives that away so early on, where it's like they could have exhausted it a little bit more so that way we could still understand the mystery behind what is truly happening between all of these strangers. This movie has some Hitchcock vibes, but ultimately it just kind of falls flat for me, and it's one that I need to watch again, and it may rank higher in the list, but it's a step down for me in terms of Tarantino, and especially in terms of Tarantino westerns. Number 6, Kill Bill. I really like Kill Bill a lot. I wish that this could be higher up in the list, but because I love Tarantino so much, Tarantino has become one of my favorite directors, that the other 5 films, I just prefer them over Kill Bill. Now, I'm not splitting up Kill Bill Volume 1 and Volume 2, they're really just one complete movie that was broken up into 2 different parts. And I think it works really well, honestly. I love Uma Thurman's character in The Bride. I love that Tarantino it's his love letter to martial arts films and martial arts filmmaking. And there's a lot of awesome moments in Kill Bill. And especially when it comes to the deaths, they have some amazing kill sequences. Thought it was a lot of fun. There's a lot of great jokes. It really hits home on what you want to see in a samurai martial arts Tarantino film. But it still feels very Tarantino. Number 5, Reservoir Dogs. Another one I wish I could rank higher on this list. This was his first film, And what a home run for Tarantino. This movie is very small compared to all the other Tarantino films we eventually get. Very small, a very unrecognizable cast other than Steve Buscemi for the most part. And I gotta say, I love what they did with the intrigue of these characters. Tarantino is known for making these amazing characters, and Reservoir Dogs is a great example of that. He has these characters that literally only go by colors for their names. You don't know much about them at all. You don't know if they have families. You don't really know a lot about their personal lives. And so it really comes full circle in keeping that mysterious layer to these characters where we can kind of unravel these own ideas and these old past experiences from the characters for ourselves. And I really love that about Tarantino. You also have some amazing sequences, and it's his shortest film to date, just barely over 100 minutes. Definitely you should go watch Reservoir Dogs if you have not. It is a fantastic Tarantino film, and it very much feels Tarantino. Number 4, Django Unchained. What a great movie Django Unchained is. This movie, it shows slavery as the horrible, terrible thing that it was, and it also has fun with that. It plays with that idea. You get some amazing, amazing characters. Calvin Candy by Leonardo DiCaprio is probably one of my favorite performances by him ever. He's so amazing in the role. I thought Jamie Foxx did a great job as Django. I really liked what they were able to do with kind of having Django have this personal relationship with this white man who really hates slavery just as much as Django does. And you get some really nice moments between, again, characters, which Tarantino's so good at doing. And you have moments that feel like the dialogue is impactful to the overall story, as opposed to Jackie Brown or Death Proof, where a lot of the dialogue felt nonsensical and useless. This movie takes that dialogue and it really makes it feel like it's an integral part of the story by including certain things that come up later on in the film that were talked about prior. And that's what I love about Tarantino and the way that he can craft a film. Django is one of those movies that he crafted perfectly. This was a movie that it feels like a sculptor just had their hands in every single element of this film, and I just absolutely love Django Unchained for it. Top 3, number 3, Pulp Fiction. I know, it's not my favorite Tarantino film. Do not hurt me. I know a lot of people are big fans of Pulp Fiction. I love Pulp Fiction. And being at number 3 really says a lot to Tarantino, the filmmaker he is. A lot of people, by a lot of people I mean almost everyone on the planet, believes that Pulp Fiction is Tarantino's best film. But to me, Pulp Fiction, what I love about this movie is you get this backwards way of telling a story. You have all of these scenes, all of these stories, these different chapters that are all out of chronological order. And I really like that because you start to understand why all of these chapters and all of these stories and all these characters fit into one perfect movie and fit in so well is because you start to unravel this puzzle that Tarantino has established from the beginning of the film. And that is, why do all of these stories kind of coincide with one another? This is an all-star cast including Bruce Willis, John Travolta, Samuel L. Jackson, Tim Roth, Uma Thurman. There's amazing chemistry between a lot of these characters, and you get to see most of them come on screen together in certain points of the film. But I just really love the fact that this movie also has fun with this premise. It's very funny. There's a lot of great moments, a lot of great Tarantino dialogue and humor throughout. This movie flies by. You don't feel the runtime at all. And watching this movie made me really appreciate cinema and what good storytellers do. And sometimes that's not telling a story by sequence, but it's by removing certain aspects of the story and saving them for later to show why this story does work so well in a sequence. So I really like that aspect of storytelling, and Tarantino shows and shines in the spotlight as the director of Pulp Fiction. If you want the definition of a Tarantino film, watch Pulp Fiction because it will show you everything that you can expect pretty much consistently from every Tarantino movie, except for Death Proof, in my honest opinion. But Pulp Fiction, number 3, this movie's amazing, so yeah, everyone knows Pulp Fiction. Everyone probably has it as number 1, and I'm sorry that I don't have it even in my top 2. All right, top 2, guys. Again, make sure, before I even reveal my top 2, make sure you guys post down below in the comments section your ranking of the Tarantino franchise and maybe a little bit of an explanation on why. Also, make sure you give this video a like Subscribe to my channel for more content just like this. Anyway, number 2 goes to the newest Tarantino film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I just went and saw this movie for a second time this morning, and I gotta say, my thoughts have not changed. Actually, if anything, I love this movie even more. I don't understand why this movie has become so divisive between filmgoers. I get that this film feels like there's really no plot in this film. It's kind of more of a hangout film. But Tarantino has been known to do this. Jackie Brown is a very good case of this. There's a lot of moments where there's a lot of hangout points in the film. To me, that boggles down the film and the runtime, and it's not as satisfying as what we get here in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Tarantino has done this for years, and everyone now is upset with the fact that, well, it's not the traditional sense of telling a story, and that's not what Tarantino's going for here. This movie shows the best dynamic between two friends in Hollywood, Cliff Booth and Rick Dalton. These two represent this symbolic relationship between one fading actor and one stuntman. I just really love the chemistry between these two characters. I love what Tarantino does in this movie. And okay, there are moments you could say this movie's a little too self-indulgent. And I will admit, yes, that's true. Tarantino's trying to show a little bit more of, look what I did and how I restored 1969 Hollywood for this film. I get that. That's valid. But to me, I feel like it also moves really well with the pacing of the film. I felt like the pacing of this movie is fine, to be honest. I feel like there are so many great moments in this movie. It's so funny, especially a scene involving Bruce Lee and Brad Pitt's character, Cliff Booth. I'm not going to give anything away because, again, the movie just came out. This is a movie that I just absolutely adore. I love it. And I want to go see it again. I want to see it a third time and maybe even a fourth time. This is the best movie of 2019, in my opinion, so far. I mean, this movie is far superior from anything you'll see that's out in theaters right now. And Tarantino's he's set this bar that's so high for directors today that only like the greats like Martin Scorsese or Christopher Nolan or people of that stature can really be on that same level. This movie feels a lot like a Tarantino movie, but it also brings some new things into a perspective of a Tarantino film. Great soundtrack, great dialogue, great characters. That the last 20 minutes of this movie is probably the best 20 minutes other than Avengers Endgame ever. It's my favorite 20 minutes of a movie ever, even over Endgame. I love Endgame, I love what Endgame brought, but the last 20 minutes of this movie are incredible, and I just love Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Not enough people are really taking the side of really loving this movie. I really love it. To me, this movie is almost flawless to me, and that's why I absolutely love it. It's a phenomenal movie, and definitely go check out Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And if you have, go see it again because you are wrong. I promise you, you are wrong. And my number one process of elimination, it's very easy, guys. Inglourious Basterds is my number one. It's the best Tarantino movie. It's a satire on Nazis. The action of this movie is incredible. Lieutenant Aldo Raines, awesome character. Probably still, after even watching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I have to say Lieutenant Aldo Raine is my favorite character in the Tarantino universe. Hans is also a great character, probably my number 2 or number 3 in the Tarantino universe. This movie really centers around all of these different characters kind of coming together, full circle. The story just kind of unfolds as it continues to go on. And there are so many tense moments in this film, especially the opening scene. The milk scene is one of the most tense moments I've ever seen in a film. And it really had me on the edge of my seat, trying to figure out what's going to happen to this family, what's going to happen in this moment, in this tense situation. So there's a lot to love about this movie. It doesn't take itself so seriously, but it still has serious elements to where this film very well balanced and not being too over the top and also not being too on the nose. And so I love that about this film. And Inglourious Basterds to me is the best Tarantino film. Anyway, guys, that is my ranking of all 9 Tarantino films. Again, let me know below in the comments what you think of my ranking and also your ranking down below. Make sure you guys like this video. Subscribe to my channel for more content just like this. And I will see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.